So good afternoon and welcome to our monthly State Street Waterfront Downtown Santa Barbara RAP meeting. My name is Landon Rank, he, him. I'm the Associate Director with SB Act, and I'm joined by my colleague Eric. Do you want to introduce yourself, Eric?
Hi, I'm Eric Meyer. I'm the project coordinator here at SB Act.
So we have a few things to discuss today, and so Eric is on the call because he's going to be playing an important role in this RAP moving forward, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I just have a few general announcements before we get started. One is just a reminder of our upcoming schedule as pertains to the downtown area. So first up, I don't see anyone from the downtown organization on the call right now. If they do join later, I'll have them share about the city council meeting next week, and the going before the city council is the possibility of a community benefit improvement district. So we'll wait and see if they join the call so they can share more. And then also, several of you participated in the point in time count back in January. This is our annual count of everyone experiencing homelessness in Santa Barbara County. And the results, the initial results will be shared at the County Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd of this month. So we're all very eager to see what comes of that. So I encourage you to tune in, and then they'll release the results in print afterwards. And then our next State Street Waterfront RAP meeting will be on the 9th. So the big news and the reason why Eric is here today is because we have gotten approval from the Planning Commission to open the Daytime Navigation and Workforce Development Center as a drop-in center here on Chapala Street. So for anyone who's new, this is going to be a space. Well, actually, I'll just go ahead and turn it over to Eric. Do you want to share about the center timeline and what's happening now?
Yeah, sure. So this daytime navigation center is really building on the success we've had with the neighborhood navigation centers. I think a lot of you know what the neighborhood navigation centers are, but they're pop-up one-stop shops for people experiencing homelessness. We have a number of service providers present providing their services. So this is going to be a physical building that actually houses all those service providers. It's at 621 Chapala, so between Ortega and Coda. We're aiming to open in June. As Landon mentioned, we've gotten now approval from both City Council and the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did grant us a conditional use permit, and some of the conditions placed on that involved a lot of neighborhood outreach. So that's going to be a big focus of what we and what I do, is making sure that we're good neighbors. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm happy to take any questions people have.
And I just want to say too, that one of the reasons Eric is here is because as the Daytime Navigation Center moves forward, this will be one of those community outreach forums that Eric talked about. So if there are questions in the community about the Daytime Navigation Center or concerns, or hey, how can I refer an individual from State Street or from my business to the Daytime Navigation Center, Eric will be here at the State Street meeting wraps to try and address those questions as they come up.
And Landon, if I can chime in, I know Barbara Anderson, I don't think is on the call. Elizabeth is, Listos is, but I know Barbara and I have met one-on-one with a number of, shall we say, rather spirited neighbors. And so our performance in the outreach, our performance on the perimeter is going to be key. This has a shelf life of just a few years, and it may or may not make it if we don't do our part of the job. And our part of the job is making sure that there are no negative neighborhood effects. In fact, my narrative has been there will be positive neighborhood impacts, because they already feel impacted by people that are, doing what they do over there in the Chapala area and whatnot. So it's really important that we all share that same narrative going forward with the neighbors, that we're not going to be something that's going to be visible. We're not going to be we're not going to have people hanging around out front, and we're not going to be doing like feeding program or anything like that. It's going to be exactly what you've said, Eric, is just, housing the services, having the professionals there in that building, a one-stop shop to move forward, but not have it be a congregation of folks at one time.
Wanted to just jump in and add a couple of things. I wanted to extend our gratitude to the folks that came to the meeting in support and those who wrote in letters of support. That really was helpful and meaningful to have that level of support. And I think all of us know on this call, and we just want to make it absolutely clear to everybody. I think everybody knows that the city and SB Act, we are all deeply committed to making this a great asset to the community. So I just want to reiterate that.
I want to second that too. Just thanks to everyone. Some of you on this call were there in support, and we really, really appreciated that. So please feel free, as we go on with the meeting, feel free to jump in with any other questions related to the center. Since it's not open yet, there may not be a lot to talk about just yet, but Eric will be joining us moving forward. I do see one or two new faces, so I just wanted to make sure and reference that there are quite a few resources available within the city of Santa Barbara for different homelessness needs. We have business card sized versions of what's on your screen now that also have a QR code on the back to a larger directory of homelessness resources. So if that's something that you're interested in getting copies of, please message me or Eric, and we're happy to reach out and get those to you. We want to make sure that everyone knows who they should be calling for what different kinds of issues, because there's quite a bit, there are quite a bit of resources at your disposal through the city. And then lastly, in terms of general announcements, I just wanted to mention that the warming center season has officially ended for 2023-2024 on March 31st. So there's still some rain ahead, and thankfully PATH is often able to open some inclement weather beds. But I just want to again give a big thank you to all of our outreach providers for their additional work to try and help people get indoors during the rains, and then to any volunteers who assisted with those efforts as well. It took a lot, and these last 2 years we've had a lot of rain, so appreciate you all.
Hey, Landon, I did confirm with Liz Adams at PATH that they will be open this weekend at the shelter. And Odin, I think you can also confirm that. So we do have some rain beds available on Cacique Street. But yeah, unfortunately, the other warming centers will not be available since it is after the season. I see Odin's thumbs up. Thank you.
Thanks, Odin. Right. So the typical format of these meetings, as we've been establishing them in the last month or so, is that now we start with questions from the community or concerns related to homelessness impacts in the downtown area. And then afterwards, we'll go to the service providers to hear about updates from what they're doing. So before we go to that, I want to open it up. Are there any specific concerns that anyone wants to raise from the community?
Specifically, I think you guys already know about her, but I think her name's like Andrea Martinez, maybe. She's the homeless woman that's in the wheelchair. She's been a real problem lately. I know she's always kind of been a thorn in our side, but I witnessed her defecate in the middle of the crosswalk a few weeks ago. She routinely goes into Casa Comal and Hana Kitchen and throws things on the ground. She dumps stuff outside their business. I know the police have contacted her at times. Sometimes they're not available, but right now she seems to be the biggest thing going on down here. That's not just for me, actually probably less for me, but more for my neighbors. She seems to really pick on them. So I don't know if there's something specific that we can do, but she's a real problem. In my 19 years of being down here, which is maybe the worst I've seen personally. So any help with that would be greatly appreciated.
We are aware of who you're talking about. We did discuss her at our staff meeting yesterday. We will elevate the priority level for this person.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron, if you have any other info as well about like typical times of day that you see this individual, that would be helpful.
Usually like afternoons, like maybe 11 to 2 or 3. I don't see her out not much at night, and I don't see her early in the morning. So I don't know where she's at, but she seems to be, the ambassadors have been dealing with her a lot. They followed her around for like 30 or 40 minutes yesterday or the day before. They might have some knowledge that I don't also about her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then just to confirm, you're at the cruiser, are you correct, Aaron?
Yeah, 501 state. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. Any other concerns to raise from the community? All right. So I don't see a lot of service providers with us today, but let's go ahead and start with Odin just to share any updates.
Sure thing. Hey everybody, this is Odin at Path. Just been continuing just an update from last time we spoke. We've been continuing our outreach on the east side, Cabrillo, East Beach, Lower Milpas, Cacique, all those areas in and around Path, Lower Milpas especially. Since we last spoke, we've successfully gotten 7 new enrollments. One individual managed to sign her voucher, her housing voucher. So fingers crossed we get someone moved off of the street and into housing. This individual I actually did meet on the waterfront a little while ago. So really, we're just in the last little stretch. Passed her background check. He's clean. She's connected with rental assistance. Now it's just a waiting game at this point. We successfully got one person also from the waterfront into Dignity Moves, and she's been very, very grateful. She still visits sometimes and actively points out clients who are in need of extra assistance to me, and I've actually managed to enroll a few people with her help, and she's absolutely loving her new studio over there in Dignity Moves. And then just last week, with the help of Rescue Mission, we managed to get one client who was residing in and around the zoo and the underpasses that a ways into the Rescue Mission's transition shelter. So that individual is very, very great guy. He's actively looking to seek alcohol treatment and with an ultimate goal of really returning back home to his family. So a lot of positive, really a lot of positive movement along the waterfront. So with that, that's keeping it light, but that's my updates for Path.
Thank you, Odin. Is anyone from CityNet on the call?
Karen.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you able to share an update?
Yeah, we have obviously been continuing the waterfront outreach. This week we focused more on West Side Beach and I believe the Pershing Park nearby. No major updates. And we're trying to get we've been having some issues with people being out sick. So we haven't been able to get all the usual spots, but hopefully next week will be better. Everybody will be healthier. That's all I have.
Great. Thank you, Karen.
Just to let everybody know, we did ask CityNet's team to do a little extra focus on the waterfront as we were having a little bit of activity in certain spots of the waterfront. So they've been doing some targeted outreach in that area.
I want to mention too that our CityNet team is accessible by phone on evenings and weekends. On that business card, you can see that State Street waterfront number. That's their hotline that you can call for any homelessness related concerns. I don't see anyone else from Good Samaritan on the call today or the Safe Parking Program. So maybe we'll go to Commander Corbett here if you have any updates you want to share.
I do. Wednesdays, so I made an adjustment to our community action team. Those are our officers that are on bikes to their schedule. And the team works 7 days a week. So we have one half that works Sunday through Wednesday and the other half that now works Wednesday through Saturday, which means Wednesday is an overlap day and I have the entire team here. So what we're going to be doing on Wednesdays is we're going to be focusing on some of our more challenging areas. and giving them some extra attention. So yesterday, what that looked like was the whole team was on in the 800 block of Cacique Street, followed up by the beachfront and Chase Palm Park. I would say 90% of the activity and enforcement was done on Cacique Street. Lots of contacts, and what it ended up resulting in 23 citations and 7 bookings in jail. I went and talked to Susie today and met her at Marburg, and just to go and spend some time down there to see if there was an effect. I did meet with Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez last week, who said that having the increased enforcement and visibility all in one day, they felt an impact over the course of a week or two. And so we will be moving around these focus areas and spending some extra attention. So sometimes that's going to be the downtown area, Cacique Street, Milpas, and any other area that gets identified to us as needing some extra attention. So those will be what we'll be doing on our Wednesdays. And I'll just keep updating, when we do those and what the effect is. But I'm happy to hear from our partners when they see an impact from when we have those kind of enforcement activities as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Corbett. I may follow up with you on that. I'd like to put together a slide of all we have the different outreach times around the different neighborhoods, and it'd be helpful to add that in.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Thank you. And then I'll go to Andrew from Code Enforcement.
Yeah, thanks, Landon. Yeah, in regards to the waterfront area, we continue to work in the Dolphin Fountain area and the promenade right nearby. Still somewhat heavily trafficked, but we are, working with individuals there regarding their personal belongings, keeping things tidy, and then trying to get them in contact with the service providers that could potentially reach out. We are still, dealing with issues over by Dwight Murphy Field, by the zoo. That Sycamore Creek area at Ninos is of particular concern, as we still see some individuals under the 101 bridge there and along the creek. But the CAT team's been really responsive, helping us make those contacts there. It just becomes increasingly important as we have a weekend of rain coming and whatnot, to make sure that we're making that contact and warning people about the dangers of the creek. So we continue to work those hot spots, and then also working closely with the park ranger staff, for different areas along East Beach and whatnot, where we have seen some increased encampments setting up, but trying to stay on top of those and offer services as quickly as we can. So that's kind of our what we're seeing from our end at this point in time.
There's a hand up from Karen.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask a question. If you can give me maybe around a time frame that you see the most activity in that area, because we've been driving by for the past 2 weeks and we haven't really been seeing anybody as of late when we go through there, even on the weekends.
Which area was that, Karen?
You mentioned, I think, near the zoo, and I think you said Dwight Murphy Field.
Yeah, if you're the main point of concern, it's a little bit tucked away, but where the public restrooms are at Dwight Murphy Field, directly across from that area, there's the railroad track bridge that goes over Sycamore Creek. There's a large recurring encampment that's just adjacent to the zoo parking lot, right in the corner there. And then there's, on the other side of the railroad bridge, there is the basically the 101 goes over Sycamore Creek right there. We see a lot of individuals underneath that bridge. They don't seem to set up as large of encampment type things. They're kind of more day use, but they do frequent it, and it is very commonly different individuals each time. So yeah, it's a little bit further over from the actual field, but sort of tucked in there along the creek.
Okay, thank you. We'll follow up this following week.
Yeah, that would be great. There definitely are some individuals there that are open to services, and some regulars also. We kind of see a a movement from that zone and then back over towards Cacique, the 800 block. We kind of see those same individuals sort of trafficking in that area. So it's definitely a good spot to make contact.
And Andrew, do you know if they're monolingual or bilingual?
Most of the individuals have been Spanish speaking that have been under the 101. So we've done our best, and we have had assistance from the CAT team in that regard, where they've been able to, inform them of the dangers and the risks in that area. But it can be kind of a varied, varied group. So.
Okay, yeah, just mostly want to make sure that CityNet has a heads up. Kind of sometimes they do have a number of bilingual staff that can target that area. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Since Odin brought it up as well, I also wanted to just mention Dignity Moves. Because of the success of the downtown Dignity Moves, the cabins on Santa Barbara Street, there is a second Dignity Moves in South County that will be opening late this month. So we do have confirmation it's slated to open by the end of April. This will be out at the former juvenile hall site, so in unincorporated Santa Barbara County, but just outside of city limits. And there will be 80 cabins opening for all of South County, and half of those will be specifically focused on clients with significant behavioral health needs. So there will be a lot of targeted services there. So we're very excited about this because that means that 40 individuals with behavioral health concerns will be able to either exit street level homelessness or move from the shelters into a setting where they'll be able to get the services that they need, which will free up more shelter beds for us. So we're excited about this, hopeful that we'll be able to see those impacts in the downtown area as well as throughout South County. Those are all the general things we do in this meeting. Are there any other questions or concerns, anything anyone wants to raise?
Brandon or Landon?
Go ahead.
Yeah, regarding the new Dignity Moves downtown has indeed been a success. It's really labor intensive, and Good Sam has done a fabulous job. And we point that out. I'll be pointing that out in the State of the City tomorrow as well. I always am concerned about their bandwidth. I mean, that's going to be a big operation. They go Scott Isla Vista. I think they're looking at some deals up in San Luis Obispo. And I just kind of wonder about how they're able to expand their personnel and their ability to do what they do on a consistent basis. Has anybody talked to them about that, or is that something they feel like they've got in hand?
I won't speak for them directly, but I think we've all felt very optimistic, partly because of the partnership with the Department of Behavioral Wellness at this new site. So there will be sort of a second organization working with Good Samaritan there. But I think there's more that could be shared about that.
Well, one of the reasons I asked, of course, is as we get ready to launch this day navigation center, and we need, target areas like that we can count on and go to. I just want to, be as encouraging as I can to see if we can really further alleviate the issues downtown. I mean, they have gotten better. We've got a few like the ones that, Aaron pointed out, that we've got some of those left out there for sure. But in terms of the sheer numbers, we've got, a better handle on it. I think I see the improvements coming up. I'm just, always cautious about being able to man and keep up the intensity.
The county does award contracts. So, as part of their award process, it is for a specific position. So it isn't just a generic contract and figure it out yourselves kind of thing. They are very prescriptive in the type of staff that they want to have at the site. So such a contract would specify specific staff levels. But hopefully we can invite them to a future meeting once. Right now they're busy evaluating all the referrals and getting people moving ready. So maybe when things slow down a bit, it'd be great to invite them and have us learn a little bit more about their program.
Well, and for my concerns is just having that open channel of communication so we can have that direct connection that isn't bogged down in administrative issues, that we can actually have a one-on-one or face-to-face kind of relationship with these people on a regular basis. I think it'd be fabulous. Like I said, the one downtown is really surprised me. It's been a lot more successful than I ever would have guessed. So we got to keep the momentum up.
That's great. We'll see if we can get them, if not on the May Zoom, then in April or June, excuse me. Anything else? Any other just general announcements for the group while we're all together? The mayor mentioned the state of the city tomorrow. All right. Well, with that, we'll close the meeting. To our community member partners, I want to say thank you. And then for our service providers, if you can stick around, that would be great. Thank you all. And Eric, you can feel free to jump off as well.